Hello everybody and welcome back to another and maybe the last tournament, I'm not sure. In this case Series 9, and I'm saying possibly the last tournament because of course after this in Series 10 through 12 there's track rotation, so I'm not really sure if I'm going to make a tournament about that. I'll still have to make up my mind, but if you have any wishes and ideas for Series 10 to 12, let me know in the comments below. But anyway, that's something for the future. For now, we still have an amazing Series 9 tournament ahead of us. And this is the lineup that we're looking at for today, where you'll find every Series 9 driver. And I'm throwing in Carlos Sainz, Bortoleto, and yes, Oliver Bearman. I'm really excited to see how these duels play out and which driver comes out on top as the Series 9 champion. And of course, basically just as important, who's going to be our number 2 driver in Series 9. But before we get into all that, I know what question all of you are asking.
What are we driving?
Man, I'm gonna miss that in case I don't make another tournament video, but who knows, maybe Paul Walker will find his way into some other future videos here and there. But anyway, this is the car that I raced with in Series 9, so if you're unsure what to go with, then this would be my recommendation. In Series 9, 3 out of the 4 tracks are about cornering, so that's what I optimized my car for. One very strong component for that we unlock in Series 9 is the gyro suspension, so as soon as you unlock that, definitely put it in the car, even at level 1. Then I think most of the other choices are quite straightforward, except for, again, the rear wing. This is a question that probably many of you will be asking themselves, do you go with the Exhale rear wing or the Aeroblade? So if I put up the comparison here, we can see that the Exhale, it is better at speed and cornering, which are the important stats for Series 9, but worse at the other stats. So again, with this one, just like in Series 7, I feel like it almost comes down to personal preference. I raced with both of these in Series 9, and in the end, I preferred the Aeroblade rear wing just because it's better at qualifying. And in Series 9, I feel like there are several tracks, like for example Monaco, where qualifying is just really important. And even if you have the better car, if you qualify worse, I feel like I couldn't really make up those positions. But as I said, I think it's very close between these two, so it's basically personal preference. Do you prefer the better car or the better qualifying? In Series 9, I went with the better qualifying. But that's it for the car. That's what I raced with and what we're going to be racing with in today's tournament. And now let's get into the first race. Okay, and the first race takes place at Verstappen's hometown, Zandvoort, and we're racing with Verstappen versus Lando Norris. Place your bets now. I think they're both very strong contenders in Series 9, but Verstappen slightly better qualifying. The only stat that Lando Norris is better at is tire management. Oh, and Zandvoort is a beautiful track for that because he will actually have the advantage. So I'm going to go one stop, and since I can't use it, or I'm not going to use any boost for this tournament, Lando Norris can complete the 4 laps. It says on the medium, Verstappen is definitely going to have to use the hard, which is, according to this, about 1 second slower. So let's see if, the other better stats from Verstappen are going to be able to make up that time. So this should be really interesting. Good luck. Yeah, thank you. I'm not actually racing you. Sorry, rival. I'm doing my own thing here. So, let's look at the race start between Verstappen and Lando Norris. Verstappen does have the better race start stat, and it looks like he got the better race start. So, not only better qualifying, but also better race start, at least for now. So far, that's looking really good for Verstappen. I'm not sure how much I can push both of them. So, I'm going to stop for now and just see how the tires hold up after the first lap. Yeah, as I said, I think these are both very strong contenders. They're both really good at defending, which is the important driver stat in Series 9 for every track. And now Verstappen, yes, that's enough. Lando Norris. Okay, so Lando Norris, I can push that much. Verstappen, he's on the slower tire, so I can push him a bit more. The slower tire, but the tire where you can push a bit more. Okay, so interesting. So far, still a big gap between them. And let's not forget, they're both doing a one-stop, and although they're on different tires, they're both doing 4 laps. So this is going to probably be decided before the first pit stop, and there it's not really looking good for Lando Norris. And now we can use DRS for the first time. We're at Zandvoort. This is the obvious spot to use it. Almost makes me think maybe Oh, Lando Norris is getting closer, though. I was just about to say, maybe I shouldn't push Lando Norris to not have a double stack and then maybe go with the hard tire instead and then be able to push a lot more in the second stint. I'll see. Although I think Verstappen should win this, and I think, yeah, my bet is on Verstappen. I'm going to try to stay as neutral as possible and try to get the best chances for each driver in this entire tournament to win the race, to win the duel. So yeah, I'll see what I'll do. They're about to do their pit stop, so yeah, let's cut forward to that and see if they double stack. Okay, so Verstappen is now about to head into the pits, and I could use all his energy, and Lando Norris I conserved a bit so that hopefully he won't lose any time due to a double stack in the pits. Ooh, that was picture perfect. So now it's not looking good for Lando Norris. For the second stint, I put him on the hard tire. As we recently learned, it is in my last Mythbuster episode, should be my last one, we learned that in this scenario, it is actually quicker to use the hard tire and then use your energy. So yeah, if you're interested in that and you haven't seen it already, go check that out. So now really the question is, can Lando Norris with that extra energy now catch up to Verstappen in these last now 3 laps? I personally don't think so, but we're about to find out. Okay, so we're now in the last couple corners, and as expected, it's looking really good for Verstappen. So the gap isn't as big as it was after the pit stop, but Verstappen has a comfortable lead, which I'm very happy with because I actually raced with Verstappen in Series 9, so I would expect or hope for him to do really well in this tournament. But that was only the first victory. But in this case, yeah, Verstappen won against Lando Norris, so Verstappen is the one that progresses in this tournament. Okay, and the next duel takes place between Russell and Carlos Sainz, and I feel like Russell's only chance is a strong qualifying, so let's see what he does here. P7 from Russell, P13 from Sainz. Okay, I'm not sure if that gap is enough. So what are we going to do in terms of tires here? Okay, so in this case, I would do a 2-stop all on soft. I'm just thinking here for the duel. I'm just going to do like a soft, like 3 laps, 4 laps, 2 laps, just so that they don't double stack. I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah, so let's put Russell on the hard. No, let's do this. Okay, Russell, he qualified. Oh, okay. Russell, he qualified better, so he gets kind of the, I think, better tire strategy. But they're both going to be on the same tire throughout the race, but after 3 laps, I didn't want that double stack. So I think this is going to be more interesting for the duel. So let's see how the race start plays out. Russell doesn't have a great race start anymore. Good qualifying, but not great race start. So Carlos Sainz is now right behind him. I'm going to push both of them a bit more, and Carlos Sainz has passed him. Can he keep it in the corner? Ooh, Russell on the inside. Very close, very close. And he's... Oh, this would be amazing to watch in real life. But now Carlos Sainz edges ahead. Ooh, that was a really nice duel. Way to go, you two. But now Carlos is building that gap. Now already, I would say, a pretty comfortable lead in terms of like first lap. And now Russell's falling behind. Carlos Sainz P12. Okay, so first lap, although Russell had a great qualifying, he couldn't hold the position. And yeah, that's also why I didn't race with Russell in Series 9, because his defending stat is really one of his weak points, and it's the most important stat in Series 9. And Carlos Sainz has a great defending stat, although he's from Series 8. So yeah, I actually raced with him for a while in Series 9, but I'll get more into that probably at the end of this video. So for now, it's looking good for Sainz, but yeah, we'll only find out for sure at the end of this race. Okay, so we're now in the last lap and last couple corners, and we actually had a safety car in the middle of the race. And if there's a safety car and it like completely gives one driver the advantage, I would restart the race. But in this case, I managed to keep it fair, and Carlos Sainz was ahead before the safety car and now still has a comfortable lead after the safety car. So it didn't affect the result. Carlos Sainz wins against George Russell, in this case with a big gap. But yeah, a win is a win. The safety car didn't affect the result. So in this duel, Carlos Sainz is victorious and manages to progress to the next round. Okay, and this next duel is between Oliver Bearman and Alonso, and we're already at race start. They qualified very similarly, so it's probably going to be decided in the first couple corners. Going to push both of them. They're both on the hard tire. Alonso has the way better race start stat. Of course, that's his specialty, so yeah, not surprised by that. He already has a big gap to Bearman, is up to P6, Oliver Bearman in P18, so I think that's decided, but I also don't want to spend too much time with this race. To be honest, I didn't race with either of these drivers in Series 9. I feel like Alonso, maybe he could surprise us with his great race start, and his defending stat isn't too bad. But Oliver Bearman, honestly, I needed a third driver that wasn't from Series 9 to put into this race. And he was great in Series 6, Series 7, and decent in Series 8. But now in Series 9, I feel like we can stop using Oliver Bearman. So, yeah, don't want to spend too much time with this, and let's just see who wins. It's probably going to be Alonso, but let's see. Okay, we're now in the last lap and last couple corners, and I don't think anybody's surprised. Alonso has a huge lead to Oliver Bearman, P2 to P12, but look at that gap. And Alonso actually performed surprisingly good. So P2 without a boost or anything, so I'm very interested to see where Alonso will perform in the rest of, or how he will perform in the rest of this tournament. But Oliver Bearman, yeah, he's in Series 9, he's really fighting above his weight class, so he was great for a long time, but now he can finally rest, finishing in P12, losing out, yeah, by a big margin to Alonso. So in this duel, as expected, Fernando Alonso takes the victory. Okay, and this next duel is another one where I think the better driver is going to be quite obvious, but just for entertainment purposes, let's look at the race start. Bortoleto does have the hard tires, so should be a lot worse, or if Hamilton has a chance at any point in the race, then it would be at the race start, but not at all. Although he's on the soft tire, he's losing positions left, right, and center, and Bortoleto is gaining positions. Well, he definitely gained some positions, and is currently fighting for P4. And Hamilton, yeah, I'm not surprised. So, again, another duel that I don't want to spend too much time with. Hamilton, I think, is going to be one of your worst picks for Series 9, or at least from the Series 9 drivers. And Bortoleto, very likely one of the best picks. So, yeah, let's just skip to the end when Bortoleto will very likely win. Okay, there you go. As expected, we're in the last couple corners, and the gap could almost not be bigger. Bortoleto in P4, just losing P4. Oh, that's a shame. But easily won against Hamilton. So Bortoleto, although he's from Series 8, he is an epic driver, so very strong contender in this tournament. I mean, look at where Hamilton is. He's still needs ages until he finished the race. He's almost getting lapped by P1. So yeah, Hamilton, not a good driver for Series 9. Bortoleto, I'm expecting a lot from him in this tournament, so that was an easy victory. So yeah, as expected, Bortoleto emerges victorious and progresses in this tournament. Okay, and we're starting round 2 of this tournament with a duel that I want to spend a lot of time with, because it's between Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen, two drivers that I both raced with in Series 9. But one thing that I loved about Max Verstappen was his better qualifying, which we can see right here. And now we're again at Zandvoort. Can I keep this fair? I could go again medium with Carlos, but we saw that the first stint is difficult. You know what? I'm gonna put them both on the hard and then be able to push in the first one. You know, let's switch some things up. And now I'm gonna be able to push both of them, and it's gonna be probably decided in the first stint. So let's see how it plays out. Carlos Sainz has a slightly better race start stat, but they both got a slow race start, so that could be Verstappen's advantage. So it looks like he could utilize his better qualifying. Still in P6, Carlos Sainz, I don't know, gained only 1 or 2 positions, so not great for Carlos Sainz. But that is the thing that I really loved about Verstappen, or hated about Carlos Sainz, was his poor qualifying. Oh, but now Carlos Sainz is closing in. So if Carlos Sainz continues like now P7, P8, so maybe Carlos Sainz can do the overtake in this first stint, which is what he's going to have to do. But let's see here. Now they're a bit more in traffic, but Carlos Sainz is keeping up with Verstappen. Oh my god, this is exactly as interesting as I would hope it to be, because I raced with both of them. I started with Carlos Sainz because, yeah, he's from Series 8. You already have him leveled and his defending stat is great. But then I transitioned to Verstappen once I had him leveled high enough because I felt like he's better. But of course, now we'll find out if he actually is better. Can use DRS here for the first time. And now let's see, will an overtake happen? I'm going to push both of them into the first corner. Ooh, he's so close. He's like right behind Verstappen. But now they're in traffic. That could change things up. Oh, Carlos Sainz lost out there. Oh, I think that may have been the deciding moment right there, that Verstappen could overtake and Carlos Sainz couldn't. I think Verstappen's overtaking stat is also slightly better. I'm not quite sure, but the big thing for me was the qualifying, and in terms of defense, which is the most important stat, they're very similar. So now this is the last chance for Carlos Sainz to do an overtake here. If he can't do it this lap, then he's going to double stack and it's not going to happen. So he's back to P3, so he's again right behind Verstappen. Oh, again, yeah, we can see this is perfect. This is a perfect example why I raced with both of these, because they're both good. They're both really good in Series 9, and it's super close. At this track, qualifying isn't as important, but it was really Monaco. I was so annoyed when I had a bad qualifying, and with Carlos Sainz it was even worse. So yeah, now they're in the pits, or heading to the pits, and Max Verstappen is in the lead, so I don't think Carlos will be able to catch that. But those were 4 very interesting laps between 2 drivers that are both great in Series 9. But in this case, probably Verstappen is going to win. But we'll only know until the race is actually finished. Okay, so now we're in the last couple of corners, and as expected, Verstappen kept the lead, but didn't expect this. He actually got P1, which is pretty cool and just shows that, you know, if Carlos Sainz would have won the pit stop duel, then he would have maybe been in P1. They're both great drivers in Series 9, and we saw how close it was. Really interesting duel. And yeah, it's really just a question of when do you transition. In my case, Carlos Sainz is level 5 and Verstappen is level 4. So just for context there, because that was level 4 was like the level where I thought he was good enough that it's worth transitioning. So just, yeah, to let you know. But yeah, in this duel, Verstappen emerges victorious. Okay, and now before we head to the final duel, let's see who's going to be Verstappen's contender. It's going to be either Alonso or Bortoleto. The only chance Alonso has is basically the race start. It's the only stat where he's better than Bortoleto, so let's see if he can make it work. So far, not looking too bad for Alonso, but I feel like he would really need to overtake Bortoleto. Okay, now P7, P8. Alonso is on the soft tire, keep that in mind. Oh wait, and he overtook him. Alonso, is there maybe a surprise here? I mean, yeah, his race start stat is better, and that is his only chance, but still. Let's not get our hopes up too high. I don't think that Alonso can bring this home. The race start boost is gonna, expire after the first lap, so, yeah, and then his defending stat and every other stat is worse compared to Bortoleto. And also Bortoleto, which might be a disadvantage in this first lap. His tire management is good enough to do a one-stop, which is, I think, the better tire strategy at Monza. So, yeah, I don't think Alonso can keep this lead, especially considering that Bortoleto's doing a one-stop, but we'll see how it plays out. Who knows? Maybe Alonso is the big surprise in this tournament. Okay, so I feel like this is going to be the deciding moment in this race. Alonso is in the pits for his last pit stop. And now, is he going to be ahead of Bortoleto? No. Bortoleto is ahead. So yes, Alonso does now have the soft tire and he can push a bit more, but I already used a lot of his energy. So I don't think he's going to win this. But I will already say Alonso, or maybe he will, who knows, he's on the soft tire, Bortoleto medium. But what I will already say, no matter how this plays out, Alonso, better than I expected. I'll give him that. But I would be very surprised if he takes the victory, but let's see what happens. There's only 2 more laps to go. Okay, and now we're in the last lap and last couple corners, and Alonso is out of energy. Bortoleto still has energy, but I don't think I can use much more tires. And it is very close, a lot closer than I thought. But as expected, in the end, Bortoleto does take the victory. But wow, Alonso, I will say, very unexpected. His stats, well, just looking at them, a lot worse. But the race start worked in his favor here. So yeah, who knew? Alonso, the hidden hero in Series 9. But he didn't make it to the final, so in the end, yeah, as expected, Bortoleto took the victory, which now brings us to our final duel. Who's going to be the best driver in Series 9? Okay, and now in this last duel, this is actually quite fun because I now have Max Verstappen and Bortoleto, which are basically just the two drivers that I raced with in Series 9. So let's see how it plays out and who actually wins. Verstappen with a better qualifying. Again, Bortoleto can do the one-stop, Verstappen can, so it's going to be a very similar duel to Verstappen versus Bortoleto, only in this case, Verstappen better qualifying but worse race start. Against Alonso, it was the other way around. But Verstappen has a better defending stat than Alonso, so I would expect him to, yeah, be even more of a competition, which would almost mean that he wins, so I'm not sure. Let's see how the race start plays out. Verstappen, very comfortable lead. Bortoleto way behind, P14? I mean, yes, he is on the hard tire, which is more difficult for the race start, but I raced here multiple times and I always felt like the one-stop was quicker. So again, let's not forget that, you know, Verstappen, he should have a lead to have a chance because he's going to do 2 pit stops. But again, I think in this case, yeah, Bortoleto is like getting unlucky here. Like, what? Down to P17? I would have said he's the best driver in Series 9. I would have expected him to win this tournament. But that's the thing with these tournaments, you know, there's a bit of luck, there's a bit of randomness in F1 Clash, and I feel like right now, yes, he's on the hard tire, but this is just an unlucky race start. P7 after 2 laps, so don't know what's going on there, but that means it's looking good for Verstappen, and maybe it will be really close if Bortoleto, maybe, I don't know, throughout this race gets his stuff together. But yeah, I'm gonna try my best with both these drivers, and then let's see which of them wins. It could actually be Max Verstappen. I would be surprised, but who knows? Okay, and now again, probably the deciding moment in this race. Verstappen is heading into the pits. And Bortoleto, he's far behind, still in P17. I can use DRS now, but yeah, what is going on here? Verstappen is out of the pits. What? Bortoleto with DRS stuck behind Antonelli. What is going on in this final race? This is not normal. In like my desperation, I tried something different with Bortoleto. I actually put him on the hard tire again in the second stint, so that I would be able to push a lot more, because yeah, if you don't give him like a simple tire management boost, then yeah, you actually can't push that much if you go hard and medium. But again, he has the better tire management. I feel like going hard and medium is the better strategy. It worked for me very often when I raced in Series 9 normally. And I raced with these two drivers a lot in Series 9, and this is not how Bortoleto usually performs. So that's just the nature of these tournaments, you know, random things, luck things can happen. Verstappen is having a good race, Bortoleto is having a bad race, and then this is how it's playing out. But we have to keep in mind that this is a bit weird for Bortoleto. Okay, so now the race is about to come to an end, and Verstappen is in P7 now. Lost the position there again, but it's almost like not even a competition. He's way ahead of Bortoleto, just now on the final straight. So yeah, in this tournament, in this occasion, Verstappen wins against Bortoleto. Bortoleto P9, huge gap. So yeah, whatever the case may be, in this case, Verstappen wins this tournament and is the Series 9 champion. Okay, so that was surprising. What a crazy duel we had there, and Verstappen actually wins. I can't wait to put him in the thumbnail. That will be the first time that I actually put the driver that wins the tournament in the thumbnail. I bet you didn't expect that, just as much as I didn't expect him to win. But of course, we have to keep in mind that across multiple races, Bortoleto should be better. Like, just looking at the stats, he has the clear advantage, so I think he just got unlucky there. But whatever the case may be, I mean, we have two drivers, so this tournament did clearly show that Max Verstappen and Bortoleto are two great choices in Series 9 that I also raced with the only exception being that I started with Carlos Sainz, which really makes sense because we already have him leveled from Series 8. But another big surprise was Fernando Alonso. He did way better in this tournament than I thought, so if you're just an Alonso fan or already have him leveled for some reason, or just really like a good race start driver, you can give him a shot in Series 9. Who knows? Maybe he'll perform really good. And that about wraps up the maybe last tournament for now. As I said, still unsure what I'm going to do with Series 10 through 12, so stay tuned for that. For now, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this helped all of you racing in Series 9, and hopefully I'll see you in all the other videos that I'll make in the future. That's been it for today. Wellasium out.